The Bulls reportedly make their final offer to Josh Giddey, but is it going to be enough? Me and Pat are going to discuss that all and more in today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize. And host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I forgot a whole part. My bad, bro. It's Friday. It's been a long week. I'm Haize, host, creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. We're going to be discussing the Bulls making another offer to Josh Giddey, Ayo Dosunmu's over under, and all the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard drama going on. I know it has nothing to do with the Bulls, but it's Friday and we're going to have some fun because I feel like
it's just funny. It's just funny.
An opportunity to come out of that. Today's episode, though, is brought to you guys by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com right now to get everything started. Football season is closer than you think right now. New customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. Download the FanDuel app at FanDuel.com to get started. Pat, the Bulls yesterday came out, first it was from Bobby Marks, which was in Casey Johnson, he supported as well, said that it matched what he heard. Bobby Marks added something later on in the day, but as far as we know, this is what Casey Johnson supported in his as well, is that the Bulls have now upped their offer to 4 years, $88 million. That's $22 million per. That's $2 million more than what their initial offer was that we've heard for months now has been the offer. They haven't budged off that offer. Reportedly, that's kind of the final offer. We'll get into the Bobby Marks part of it where he mentions that the Bulls could go up on it, but how do you feel about that offer? Is that good enough for Josh Giddey?
2 M's, bro.
2 M's per. It's 8 M's. Bro, if somebody came and offered you 2 M's right now.
Hey, I don't have an M. like that's different. You know what I mean? Josh Giddey already has M's in his bank account. No, it's just, you know what it truly is? It's the audacity to say, I got $2 million more for you. In a situation where I'm asking for like $5 million to be like, I get kind of there. And you'll just either take it or you'll sign this qualifying offer. Like, I'm truly, I guess, again, if Josh Giddey signs it, Bulls win, Bulls are right. You know what I mean? But I'm truly feeling like we're heading towards a world of, I don't know how you don't take that as disrespect, bro. If you're Josh Giddey. I don't know how, like, to me, I would be like, you really came back to me and said, fine. After all that, is 2 M's a year. Like, I would look at you and be like, okay, we're going to sign this QO and we're going to get out of here.
Here's the thing, though. If both sides come off 2 M's, then $24 million is right there in the middle that they could agree on. And
here's the thing. Giddey already feeling like it's disrespect that we at 20.
Oh, yeah, facts. I mean, here's the thing. I do think that this, like, it's good that the Bulls realize, all right, this ain't going to get it done. And it's funny that this came out about an hour after Cam Thomas took the qualifying offer. It was almost like the Bulls said, hey, yo, wait a second. He could really take it? All right, we got to give him a little bit more. And that's why I don't believe this being the final offer. Bobby Marks, and that's why I was going to come in. Bobby Marks in his article later in the evening yesterday did say that from what he's hearing that the Bulls could go up further on the article because they are kind of terrified that Josh Giddey will take the qualifying offer. My thing is this, is that if you have any fear that he's going to take the qualifying offer, at some point you got to just stop playing. We're one situation from Josh Giddey being like to his agent, be like, all right, so what's the latest offer? Oh, they think I'm playing. I'll phone them. Go ahead and take that qualifying offer. Give me that deal for the qualifying offer.
First off, if Josh Giddey drops an on phone them, we've done too much. He's been here too long.
I think you got to understand the impression that Modest Buzelis could make on Josh Giddey. That's all I'm saying.
If Modest Buzelis drops it on phone them,
what's more likely, a phone them or on bro? Which one do you think is more likely from Josh Giddey?
You want to know what's crazy? Like, I actually think on phone him is more likely than on bro. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know why. But I definitely. Man, and then Yuki Kawamura comes out of nowhere, just type shit. Wait a minute. Hold on, dog. Can't say that.
You know what? I would not be surprised at all if Yuki Kawamura has been driving around the city of Chicago, and I know this is going to sound weird, with like Javon Carter listening to King Von all summer, bro. Like, I would not be surprised at that.
Javon Carter just keeps coming back.
Yuki's like, hey, man, show me around. And he's been hanging out all summer, bro.
They pull up on the corner, and Javonte Green is just there selling tracksuits out the back seat.
I mean, he's in Cleveland now, so he's definitely selling tracksuits out the back seat.
I mean, listen, we've been saying he was doing that on the side for years. He definitely the plug. But no, man, honestly, I think when you look at this whole Giddy contract situation, and I agree with you, right? The fact that it came out right after Cam Thomas and everything that he went through, I think you have put yourself between a rock and a hard place, because the true dictator of this is somebody going to be willing to take that qualifying offer? Now that you've seen one do it, do we see Kuminga do that? Do we see Giddy do that? That's a real question that the Bulls are going to be faced with now, because I think I get you playing hardball, but I think you slow played this a little bit too much. You were so stuck to your price, and it, maybe trying to keep the books right so that you can have this great summer of 26. But me and you have talked about it. Like, the Bulls' books are great as far as money management right now. Like, you pay Josh Giddey, at least move up to, okay, you're at 30, we're at 20. Let's meet in the middle. Let's get to 25 and let's have fun, which may end up happening, which, I think the Bobby Marks conversation kind of is speaking to that eventually they just meet in the middle.
Yeah, and that's what I think this is leading to. Now, I don't know if you get to the middle on a straight up deal, or if you get to the middle with, all right, let's agree to a 4-year, $24 million with incentives that can get you to 25.5, like something like that. I feel like this is now the Bulls coming down is the first step of that being more of a reality. I'm not ready to say that that's going to be for sure what happens, but I do think that has now become more of a reality with this. And I don't think this is the final offer. I don't think that this is going to be it, but I do think that this means that a deal is probably closer to happening, because the Bulls now realize all it's going to take is Kuminga, because we've heard also Kuminga's a step away from taking the qualifying offer. Kuminga also takes the qualifying offer. I guarantee you within 24 hours, the deal gets done.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
If Kuminga takes the qualifying offer, and I think what's funny is, like, it truly just takes seeing, okay, who else is going to be on the market. Now, let me ask you this, though. Does this change how you're looking at going out there and spending money on Josh Giddey? I know how we feel about Giddy. We think that he's a cornerstone piece of the future of what could happen here. And he makes a lot of sense for this team. But now seeing Jonathan Kuminga possibly take the qualifying offer, Cam Thomas taking the qualifying offer. The summer of 26 does have a lot of young talent that could be impactful for the future. Does it make more sense to say, hey, let's kind of just see if we can get Giddy as cheap as possible?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand the Bulls using to play the market to see if they can get a player cheaper. Like, and shout out, they should have did that for Patrick Williams. Make no mistake about it, because they would have played the market. They probably would have signed Patrick Williams for like $3.5 million. But that aside, right? They're smart to do that. Should they have done it in different situations? Yes, but that doesn't mean that they're not smart for trying to see if they can get a player with cheaper. But at some point, you got to realize he ain't going for it. And at some point, then you have to realize, okay, if he's not going for it, what are we willing to come off for that? Let's actually negotiate. Negotiation also, like for the Bulls fans, like, well, we want to see them actually negotiate. That's fine. Negotiation also isn't just saying, oh, this is all we got. Cool. Like, let's just sit here and look at each other for the next 6 months. That's not negotiation either, right? Like, you have to do actual communicating back and forth. And so, I always go to centers, right? The conversation that Michael B. Jordan had with the little girl in center, she's like, when he's talking about money, it's always in conversation with one another. Like, that's what you have to have. And right now it feels like for the better part of 60 days, there's been no conversation. Both sides have just been like, this is what I want. This is what you want. And it is what it is. This is the first step for an actual negotiation. They have until October 1st until he can take the trade deadline, but this can go on further than that for a long-term deal. Let's hope that this just gets done. And if they can meet in the middle, whether that's via incentives or anything else to get them closer to being in the middle, I think that that's a fair deal for everybody.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to get there. I mean, like, listen, if you got to plant a money tree, just do something. Maybe Josh Giddey has a nice foundation in
Jerry has
Australia.
several money trees, bro. Like you could just go in Jerry's backyard right now and clip off 13 million, bro. I guarantee you he has money.
Say you plant a couple of money trees, and then we'll see where the money goes. We follow the trail.
That's crazy. That's wild. But we'll see. I do think the resolution of this is coming sooner rather than later, and that's going to be good for all sides. Whatever that resolution is, I'm not saying the resolution is necessarily a long-term deal. The qualifying offer is still an option out there. I don't think it's a likely one, but we'll see what happens. And hopefully we're Pat sometime next week. We're talking about the actual deal, and then we can go forward and just. Because the last thing the Bulls want, you do not want to open up training camp, which media days is the 28th or 29th, I believe. You don't want to do that in Josh Giddey still, because then at that point, all the media day is just going to be about Josh Giddey. It's not going. No matter what else you do, everything's going to be about the Josh Giddey contract.
We are not going to talk about Josh Giddey's contract. Your thoughts on Josh Giddey's contract?
Actually it took you 3 years, but that was a really good AK, bro.
I just normally don't break out the full accent because then I don't want people to be like, "Oh, this guy's
Vlad the Impaler" with it. So like, yeah, that was a good accent.
Vlad the
Impaler, yeah. So
it's all about tongue on the roof of the mouth on that one. He's very good, I don't know.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start talking about Ayo Dosunmu. We're gonna keep her over under. We're gonna talk about Ayo Dosunmu this time. But first, we got to get to a message from FanDuel. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting. Whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup, it's a quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Or Locked On Bulls coming up next. So you want to hear a funny story? So I don't bet, right?
Yeah.
So this is how much I took advantage of the situation. Jalen Carter got ejected yesterday, right? And so before they had a chance to update the odds, I put in a bet on the over/under for sacks for the Philadelphia.
You took the under?
I took the under.
How much? You get
only won $50.
Oh,
but
hey, it's 50 more than you had.
I was just like, hey, I wonder how quick they update this. I went in real quick and saw they hadn't updated. I was like, oh, I'm on it. So there you go.
That's the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life.
Bro, it was wild.
I called J-Mac, who played in the NFL for 10 years, right? So he's seen a lot of football. Played against Ndamukong Suh. I said, you ever seen somebody spit on somebody? He was like, I've never seen that in my life. Like, as a man, this man is disrespectful. He's like, I've never seen this a day in my life. So that tells you, Jalen Carter, you're a special kind of piece of garbage after that one.
Yeah. Did you see the thing where it is, he can't let somebody draw him out because Dak was trying to entice him a little bit there, but it is what it is.
Listen, he spit on the ground. You spit back on the ground. He spit on the ground, you spit on the ground. We could draw lines and then you hit him in the game. Your job is to hit him.
Exactly. That's all you had to do. He let it get the best of him, but it is what it is there. But let's get into this Ayo Dosunmu conversation, Pat. So we've been doing our over-under. We're picking one stat for each Bulls player, and if they're going to go over under that. Ayo was a difficult one to get because like the points per game, but then that may not be his role to score a lot, even though we know he can do some scoring. He did score the most points per game in his career last year. We could do just shooting splits. The three-point shooting dropped off a cliff last year, 40% in the prior year, down to 32% last season, even though before he went the shoulder injury, he did start showing signs of shooting it well from three. His numbers as a starter are actually really good from three. Mm-hmm. Starts, but I don't know if you want to do starts. So this is the over-under, because I think for Ayo, it's about the minutes played. Whether he starts or doesn't, it's about the minutes played. Last season, Ayo Dosunmu averaged the most minutes of his career, 30 minutes per game. Over under 30 minutes per game for Ayo Dosunmu next season.
Over. And the reason I say that is because, as I've said the entire time, the expectation in my mind is that Ayo Dosunmu becomes this version of the team's Alex Caruso. And I think that's why you saw the three-point shot plummet. I think that's why you saw some of the struggles from the three ball, right? Because you are now being asked to do everything. It's not just we need you to be a three-point shooter. We need you to be a three-point shooter. We also need you to guard the best player. We also need you to be a leader. We also need you to, in this situation here, now you have to be the guy that's just screening for guys to get open. Like there's so much else that you're being asked to do. There was a game where that second Detroit game after we got clapped in the first one, Ayo Dosunmu came out and was like, bet I'm starting to fight.
Yeah.
Like the game started, he was like, I got to fight somebody. Like that was so disrespectful. Like we have to, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Ayo never does this. So you can tell his mindset going in was, I need to light a fire under my team. And listen, it didn't work in that game because they got clapped yet again. But after that is kind of where we saw the team start to lock in. Giddy locks in. Kobe locks in. I don't know if it stems from that, but you can tell that Ayo was just being asked to do things that you normally don't see Ayo be asked to do. And so I do think that he ends up playing over 30 minutes this year, because I think there's going to be so many different situations where he's a point guard, he's a two guard, he's a three. Heck, we with Billy Donovan, he's probably going to get some small ball 4 and 5 at some point. You know what I mean? Just like use those arms and go grab the rebound. Like, he's asked to do so much. I think truly that there's not going to be many times where we don't want to have Ayo on the floor.
Yeah, and that's why, like, recently on Central, I talked about, like, I've been talking a lot about who starts at the three and all this, but I think more importantly is who's your closing lineup. And me and you talked about that a little bit. And I don't see a world, if Ayo's healthy, where he's not part of the closing lineup. I just don't see that happening unless somebody steps up hugely and we don't expect it. But I do expect Ayo Dosunmu to be out there for the closing lineup because of his versatility and the things he brings. Like you said, he's this version's team, closest thing that we have to Alex Caruso on this version of the team. Now, maybe Isaac Okoro steps up and is a little bit of that too. We'll see, right? But yeah. Ayo Dosunmu is kind of the more proven commodity. We know what he is and the chemistry he has with Kobe. His minutes with Josh Giddey were really good in the time that we saw them together last season as well. So there's a reason to believe that he's going to pick up on that. So I do think Ayo is going to be, you said over? You think he's going to play over 30 minutes?
I said over because I think they're just going to use him so much.
Yeah, I think he's going to be right at about the same, as about 30 minutes per game. I just, typically we don't play really anybody over 30 minutes per game anymore since DeMar and those guys left. So usually like everybody plays around that, like our main guys. So maybe slightly above that. But Ayo's going to be an important cog to what we have going on. And Pat, I don't know if you've noticed this too, but like I've seen more Ayo Dosunmu slander this offseason than I've ever seen. And I don't understand where that came from. I've seen a lot of people like, oh, Ayo's overrated. Ayo's this. I'm like, do you watch? Like, don't get me wrong. He had a down season shooting wise, but if you watch everything involved with basketball, Ayo Dosunmu was part of every positive Bulls lineup that we had last year. I just don't get where some of that hate's coming from.
Bro, the advanced analytics say Ayo's one of the best players in basketball.
Exactly.
Like literally, when you look at the advanced analytics, it's like Ayo Dosunmu is always a positive plus minus. He's always a part of lineups that are, excuse me, that are tops in steals, that are tops in defensive rating, that are like Ayo is an impact player. Now, again, you know what it is, though? I think this is kind of like, remember when Caruso left the Lakers? And Lakers fans were like, I mean, he's just a dude. Like, we don't need him. Like, he's a dude.
I remember our conversation. Remember, I was like, yeah, Caruso, he's cool.
Bro, I was like, we're going to love this dude. I literally, when we signed Alex Caruso, I was like, Bulls fans, I give you 30 games. By game 30, you will love Alex Caruso. It took like 10.
Yeah, for me, honestly, I think it was like within the first 5 games of this. Yeah, like seeing him all over the court. Like it was like, two things that I know we're going back into nostalgia or whatever. It's crazy that like 4 years ago it was nostalgia. But 2 things early into that season, that first season with him and Lonzo on this team, was the time where Lonzo guarded 3 players on one play all back to back. And then there was another one where Caruso started the fast break by getting the tip, finished it, and then on the other side got another deflection that like it was all within like 2 minutes. It was like, these guys are crazy. That's why, like, had the injuries never happened, that would have been a crazy team. But yeah, and let's hope that Ayo, does some things like that this season. We know the potential that Ayo does have, and I do think he has more two-way potential than Alex Caruso. And that's not to knock Caruso. I just think Ayo has a higher offensive upside than Alex Caruso.
Well, I don't think he has to develop it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Ayo has a jump shot. Like Caruso literally was like, okay, I need to learn to shoot because nobody on this team can shoot.
Yeah.
He really did. Shay said he brought a Kirk Heinrich type of energy. He truly did. Like, Kirk
Absolutely.
was not a shooter. And then he was like, well, they got Derrick Rose, so.
Bro, that's one of the things I love the most
shoot.
about Kurt Heinrich. Is literally that he came back that season after we drafted Derrick, and was like, he put on like, it was like 8 or 10 pounds of muscle. He was like, yeah, I'm not going to be the point guard. I need to play next to Derrick Rose. It was like, it's crazy. Like, thank God. Like,
bro, he went from the next season after we drafted Derrick. He went from 35% from 3 to 40% from 3.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He was like, hey, if I'm shooting this ball, that's the only way I'm getting points now, because he's going to the bucket. Hey, man, crazy. We got to get up out of here. Oh, wait, not yet. Not yet. We got one more topic. I don't know where I was going there. We got to talk about this drama with the Clippers. But first, no word from our sponsors.
Pat, so just to jump right into this topic, bro. This thing going on with the Clippers. Pablo Torre just came out and dropped a nuclear bomb on anything that the Clippers thought they had positive going on. He literally snatched all that away. So like, and more's come out. I don't know if you saw more's come out since then. Yes. So initially it was reported as what was $28 million. Then they found a second payment that brought it up to $54 million for a no-show advertising deal. That it's just. So the thing that makes this suspicious, right? I said this over on Locked On NBA, is that all he had to do was do something. It's the fact that he did nothing, and now people are looking at like, we did nothing, and he got this endorsement deal. Tweet out a picture of you eating a burger and say it's for the company. Like, if you just did one of something, it would have made this go away. But now the NBA has come out. They are going to do their own investigation on it. The closest thing that we have to this ever happening before was with the Minnesota Timberwolves and Joe Smith. And they ended up voiding out his contract. The Timberwolves got fined 5 first-round picks and some millions of dollars. Like, it was crazy. So, like, I don't know if anything of this magnitude is happening because Kawhi's already been there. His contract's almost up, whatever it is. But you got to think, Pat, that if the NBA in their own independent investigation comes up with the same things that Pablo came up with, there got to be some serious repercussions coming,
Bruh,
right?
Listen, I mean, like, it might be, hey, buddy, you're going to, like, I don't know how to even, first off, Pablo Torre dropping this nuke is crazy, but, like, I don't know how you thought that this was all just going to go under the radar forever. Like, there's so many questions with this whole situation because, like, Kawhi there was no, like you said, company. There's nothing. Are there any trees? Is there anything that, like, I know this sounds weird because, like, I'm so confused by this whole situation, dog. What's the thought process here that this was a good idea? You're trying to circumvent the salary cap, but you gave him a massive contract anyway.
Yeah, and the thing that I think is a concern here, and this is why it throws up red flags, is that with as many teams, I know I think we talked about it off air, but like half the teams in the NBA didn't pay the luxury tax last year, and I think that number is going to go up because teams are so terrified of the second tax apron. So I think now there's kind of this focus on this. And do I think this is the first time this has happened in the NBA? Hell no. I think this probably happens more than we know. To this magnitude, maybe not. But now as teams try to circumvent the second tax apron, who's to say? Jerry Reinsdorf would never do it, but like, who's to say that when you negotiate with a free agent, it's like, hey, listen, this is the money that we have to work with because we're not we want to stay under the second tax apron. But hey, this company that I'm involved in, we got an endorsement deal for you. You know, we can get you those type of things. I think that's what the concern is and why this does have to be a red flag, because now as the owners are making more money than ever, you have more billionaire owners than ever before. For a long time, it was millionaire that owns NBA teams. Now you have billionaires that have their hands in a lot of different things, all the different parts of the ownership groups, all these type of things that, like, all these moving parts now there, it's impossible really to police all of it. So I think the NBA is going to have to make a example in some way out of the Clippers, because you got to send the fear through the ownership, because if they feel like they can get away with this, it's probably going to keep happening.
I think here's the thing, though. It's just what's got me confused is just the stupidity from everybody involved. Kawhi, why is your name on this company? Why did you name it something so obviously you? Wasn't it like KL2 or something like
I
that?
don't even remember, bro.
Like it was like it's so obviously you. Like it didn't make sense. And I think that's the part for me where it's like, I could see this if, right, you have your friend run a company and the Clippers invest in it. Like, I don't even know if I'm saying don't do it. Just do it better.
Yeah.
This was so Kawhi Leonard. Let's be honest. This was done in a very Kawhi Leonard manner.
I mean, Steve Ballmer also, like,
the minimal effort you can put in.
Steve Ballmer saying he has no idea of the company and all that type of stuff, like all of that. Like the thing that with Steve Ballmer is that he's always so happy. Those are always the people with the biggest secrets, bro. The people that just walk around smiling all the time, the ones you got to worry about.
Oh, Steve Ballmer's on a couple lists for sure.
Y'all facts.
Steve Ballmer's on a few lists out here. He's got too much of a smile. But we actually do have a live image here of Kawhi Leonard getting this deal done with the tree. Shout out to that. I mean, that's how they pass the money off. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard and the money tree.
That's the tree they're using to print the money that they're going to give them. That's
hey, bro. Hey, that tree was like, no, go get that one over there. Don't. It's
crazy, bro.
This is going to mess the NBA up because I think, like you said, I'll bet you there's other teams that are doing this as well. And now the NBA has to do like a deep investigation of everybody's books to make sure that everybody's on the level with all of these contracts because, like you said, they've come up with the second tax apron. They've come up with all these things that are going to put the players in or put the teams in a situation where, yeah, you can pay as many people as you want. We just going to make sure that it hurts when you try to go out there and build these super teams. We want to have more what's it called? Not balance. Well, I guess it is balance. We want to make sure that a competitive balance.
Yeah.
We want to have more competitive balance in the league, and we think that's going to be better for the league, which, listen, leagues that have hard caps find ways to make it work. Essentially, that's kind of what this is. Like, in the NHL, the Blackhawks had to get rid of multiple people from the first championship team. They still went back and won championships because you kept the important pieces. You don't get rid of Tage. You don't get rid of Kane. And you go out there and you find a way to win again. It's possible. But now the NBA, for integrity, NBA having a lot of integrity issues right now, has to go through everybody's books, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they got to also worry about why there are so many industrial size paper shredders that pulled up to so many NBA execs offices here over the last 24, 48 hours. So they got to figure that out. But yeah, bro, it's
not even digital. They keeping it just on paper.
I mean, it's probably better to keep it on paper than digital if you're trying to do something to keep off the books.
I'm disappointed. I feel like the mafia has taught us so much. Like, I feel like this was just a failure of execution, dog. I expected more from Kawhi.
And now we're going to find out it's like payolas. It's just going to be like we're all types of stuff, bro. But yeah, bro. Anything left before we get up out of here, Pat?
Nah, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer.
The very first rule that you learn is hide the money.
Hide the money.
Hide the money. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, and more. Basically, anywhere you want us, you can get it. We'll see you guys bright and early Monday. We're back to 5 days a week starting on Monday. So there you guys go there. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Y'all not supposed to be seeing us?
Y'all not supposed to see that?
Ain't no Diddy party back here.